If I was meeting someone for the very first time who was wanting to get into commodities, I would have to relate to them some of my experiences. With Ag Masters, which is a sister company to Decadian, we found out that most ag producers should not be in commodities because they don't understand it. In every business you get involved in, if you don't understand it, you shouldn't be in it, or you should get educated. And part of what Decadian will be doing for you is educating you in commodities. That is a choice. You can find most of that information on our website at Decadian.com. For those who are familiar with what they're trying to accomplish, it'll be much easier for you. But what we've tried to do at Decadian is strip away all the research, all the work, all the requirement for knowledge, and we will be texting you the key information you need to be successful. That would be the entry position of what commodity you want to enter into, at what price. We'll also provide you a stop point to manage the risk, which is inherent to commodities. And then we'll also be texting you the exit point of which to take profit on the trade. Now, of course, there's no guarantee in commodities, and we expect to be between 80 to 90% accurate on our trade calls. And the positions we put you into are time-honored seasonal trades, which will be advantageous to you. And we're looking for, believe it or not, at least 100% return on the time-honored trades. We take a very unique methodology where we're not looking to get you into trade after trade after trade. If you go to an investment house in New York and they sit around a table and they have 10 to 15 opportunities coming across their desk every week, they know they only have to pick one to hit a home run. And that one trade, 2 or 3 during the year we're looking for, is what we want to put you into, because you only need one home run a year to be very successful in commodities. The more times you jump in and out of the market, the more risk there is. So we want a managed risk situation where we put you in a long-term investment opportunity which will create the highest return with the least amount of risk possible for what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. It was interesting how Ag Masters came about because it's a culmination of 30 years in agriculture. I spent a broad range in the marketplace besides farming and being a licensed real estate broker for 18 years. I was involved in the ethanol industry in the mid-'80s, and I actually put together an ethanol project where I spent $50,000 of my own money, did a marketing analysis, feasibility study, engineering, and had it all set up and site location, had all the byproducts sold, showed it was profitable. But I only needed $100 million to get it done. So after spending $50,000, I learned a very valuable education of, if you don't have the money, don't waste your time. And then in the early 2000s, I was pulled back into ethanol at a time I'd gotten out of farming after 25 years. And because of that, I was also merchandising grain with elevators. So I was on both sides of the equation. I was buying grain for ethanol plants, and I was also selling grain as a producer. So being able to walk both sides of the fence gave you quite an education to how both sides of the market worked. And then getting out of farming, a banker had asked me what I was going to do when I got out of farming, and I really didn't have a clue. And he said, "No, you're really good at marketing. You need to get into that." Realizing that people from the outside can see you better than you normally see yourself, I decided to trust him and got into ag marketing. That was the beginning stages for Ag Masters, as I started working directly with the agriculture community and advising them on how to market their grain. When I got out of farming in 2002 and slid over into advising producers, I did it on a small scale just to have a decent income. I wasn't working too hard at it, but I had a number of people pushing me to do more in that area. They kept telling me what you do has value. Of course, how we see ourselves and how others see us is a lot of times different. So I continued on my path because I wasn't quite sure how to get that done. As people kept pushing me, I finally decided I was going to go into it. And in 2009, I started working on my own website. It took me a year to get it developed. And then in the fall of 2010, I did something most people wouldn't do. I actually had $50,000, which I committed to the project, and I signed on advertising for $125,000. If you wanted to bank that, that would not happen. But I took the risk because everyone kept telling me you'd be very successful at this. So in the first year, starting Ag Masters with our first sales in 2011, January, I went from zero to a $500,000 business the first year and to over $1 million business the second year. The interesting push came from the subscribers because as we started putting the information out, they kept asking for more. They wanted text messaging, they wanted more information, they wanted research data, and as they pushed us to grow, it actually expanded our growth quite rapidly because what they were asking for was what other producers were seeking. So we're always staying attuned to what the producer wants because they will drive your business forward. Now, after we got Ag Masters going very successfully, we moved into a dream of mine, which is Decadian. Back in the 70s and 80s, I loved looking at long-term charts, and I had this very large book, very large of charts that went back 30 years. And as you read the charts, you start to wonder, why do the prices move the way they do? Why do they ebb and flow? Why do you have gigantic rises? And you start learning about the fundamentals, the factors behind the price, besides the technicals. And I realized within every commodity, about every 5 years, it has a major low and a major high. And the least risk in any market is on the low side. The highest risk is on the high side. So as we looked at Decadian as a natural flow from Ag Masters, we wanted to put people into time-honored, low-end price ranges of commodities where there's very little risk and there'll be an explosion to the upside. That's my vision, and because of Ag Masters, we're able to take that and expand it because Ag Masters works with about 3 commodities. Decadian is going to take that concept of time-honored trades to a new level of about 20 commodities. These will be commodities that are influenced by weather and has certain seasonality as well as tied directly to demand and supply. What has changed in the last 3 years is the technical aspects of the market because funds are in there ruling the market. So we have to have quite a distinction between technical trading and fund trading, which we're going to get into later.